Hey folks, quick disclaimer about Greasy Says, my new show about being a game developer for 15 years who's brown. Okay? Greasy Says contains explicit language, adult situations, and viewer discretion is strongly advised. Right? Greasy Says is supposed to be a comedic take on what it's like to be in the gaming industry from my perspective, but I'm not out here trying to make people feel uncomfortable just for the sake of it. So, to sum it up, I have a potty mouth. Don't let your kids listen to this shit. And kings and queens above 18 only. Let's try that. All right? Lay is...
Haha, let's get this party started.
High def with the professional.
Greasy says.
Listen to this beautiful voice. Listen to how congested this voice is. Isn't it fantastic? Doesn't it just bring you joy to realize to yourself that you don't feel this way and how great that is? Let me tell you all something, greasy people. Every moment that you're not sick, you should be frolicking. Okay? You should be ecstatic that you're not sick. I've been sick. I got sick twice in a row this week or these last couple weeks. Like, I had like a cold that my kid gave me, followed by a sinus infection from the cold. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining too much. I just want to lay this out for you. And as soon as I got over the sinus infection, I got another cold from my toddler. It might be from my toddler. I might be blaming him for nothing. I don't know. But I got another one. And I have bought stocks in Dayquil. I bought stocks in NyQuil. Because I'm about to make millions off of this shit. But you know what? I was thinking to myself today, feeling like shit, feeling sad for myself, feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Fuck it. When you sick and you could just push through and you could just be like, you know what? I'm just going to treat it like a regular ass day. Yeah, I'm going to feel like shit. But I'm not going to let this bullshit stop me. It's empowering, man. It's empowering. So yeah, you know, I'm just saying, be grateful that you're not sick right now. If you're listening to this and you're not sick, be grateful. Anyway, in gaming news, I'm recording this on, like 7 hours before Diablo IV is officially quote unquote released. So I went and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to get Diablo IV. I got a little break coming up. I'm going to play a fuckload of Diablo 4 because that's what that's what we've been waiting for, right? That Diablo 4 is here to basically ruin your summer. Nobody's getting laid. Nobody's looking good at the beach. Everybody's inside getting pasty as fuck playing Diablo 4. Granted. So I go over there to the old Battle.net site to download the shit, to pre-order the shit, because I'm like, all right, it's coming out tomorrow or a few days from now, so I'm gonna just cop it real quick. I cop it for the 60. That annoys me a little bit, right? Because it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Is it 60 or is it 70? Let me check real quick. Diablo 4. Cause you know Activision is behind this fucking price and bullshit. Oh damn. Alright, so I'm gonna call bullshit on myself and I'm gonna call myself a sucker. Because Diablo 4 Standard Edition is $70. $70. Alright. What could I get for $70? I could get like several months of Netflix for that amount of money. I could put that money, I could go buy some stock that will pay me back more than double in a few years on this $70. $70 could buy me an eighth of weed and a little bit more if I wanted to. Like an eighth of weed and some gummies. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be chilling on that for like a couple of weeks. So I'm already breaking my own rules, saying I never pay no $60 for no fucking game. I'm breaking it twice because I'm paying $70 and I'm pre-ordering. So I'm breaking all my rules right now for this fucking game. Why? I don't fucking know. It was a spur of the moment. That's how they get you. You know, they hit you with the trailer. The hype is there. They do the server slam. Boom. You're in. You're invested. So here I am invested. And I go and I throw this $70 to pre-order this fucking game. I'm psyched. I want to play it. I'm cool. Then I see the bullshit that that they are pulling on their audience. And I'm like, this could only come from Activision. $70 for the standard game, right? You get like maybe a handful of special pre-order items, in-game items. Who gives a fuck, right? I don't fucking care about that shit. $80, right? You could buy the deluxe digital edition for $80, and that shit just allows you to play the game 4 days early. $10 more, a seventh of the game's standard price, just to play the game 4 days before it comes out. And I see motherfuckers online right now playing it, so I know they paid for it. You paid $80 to play a game early? I mean, I could say you're a chump, but I'm a chump for buying this shit for $70. So you just a little bit more of a chump than I am. But for 4 days, I could understand if it was like, yo, you get the shit 2 weeks early or some shit. But 4 days? And you're probably still QAing this shit for them. You know what I mean? Before launch. I just hit the installer and they installed a new patch. So you know you QAing for these motherfuckers still. And then the crazy deluxe edition is like $100. I don't get it. I still don't fucking get it. But it works. It works. And as long as it keeps working, these companies are gonna keep doing this shit. So enjoy your expensive 4 days early. All right, and I'm gonna be a dumbass over here playing 4 days later, paying only $10 less. So we're all fucked. I have a note here for the beginning of the show that I don't understand the context for, but I put it in here, and I said it just says Miami is fucked. Racist dog. I don't know what that means. I don't recollect that story at all. I guess I was in Miami, which I hate Miami. Okay, I used to stay in Miami for a long period of time. I personally can't stand Miami. I was around in the scene. I was on the club shit. I was in all of that shit when I was younger. Burned out on it. I could give a fuck about Miami. I think Miami's a vapid, empty place with mad titties and asses flopping around and giant dicks. But it has no draw for me. I could give a shit about Miami. And apparently I encountered a racist dog there. Because Miami, a lot like the rest of the states, it may seem diverse, but it's still racist as fuck underneath. So I don't know the exact backstory to that, but just watch out for the racist dogs in Miami, all right? Thank you. Oh. All right. So I think I coined a new term the other day. All right, so let's say you're at work, you're doing your job, whatever your job might be. And it's one of those days at the job where you're just crushing it. You were getting tasks done ahead of time, you're picking up extra tasks, you're hitting people back on emails, Slack, DMs, whatever, you're making shit happen. Right? You're crushing it. You're doing it all. You're giving 110%. Right? I did that the other day where I crushed it. I did some shit that would line up people for like weeks to come. Give them tons of work to do. I'm creating job security out here is what I'm doing. And I felt very proud of myself. And I was like, man, it would be good to categorize these days. You know, like we categorize days where we waste a ton of time or we put in way too much work and we stress ourselves out and we label it things like crunch and overtime and all this kind of thing. But when you do cool shit within the time that you are allotted without having to go overtime or do extra shit beyond when you work, there should be a label for that. There should be a recognizable label that you can give yourself to say, I had this kind of day, which doesn't exist, which is a shame because it reduces when you accomplish something great in your working day. So I coined this phrase. Check this shit out. What y'all think it is? A high output day. Right? It sounds corporate as fuck, right? A high output day. That's a day where it's just like a regular day. We're not crunching. It's not like crazy times at the office where everybody's putting in 110%, putting in extra hours. It's just a regular day where you murder your job. You crush all your tasks so well that you could literally take the next 2 days off. We call that a high output day. And I would urge each and every one of you out there that when you have a high output day, which everyone has one. When you have a high output day, you make sure to take the equivalent days off mentally from your job once you have a high output day, because you've earned it. If you've managed to do 3 days of work in one day or 2 days of work in one day, that extra day is now yours. You've earned it to do whatever the fuck you want with. Even if it means you work a little bit, you give 50%, and then you go outside for a fucking hour-long walk because you crushed it yesterday, you've earned it. And just because everyone else may have low output days and they're going to come to you on your day of rest, asking you for some output, back of your head, you're like, nah, I gave my high output day. Your ass going to have to fucking wait. High output day. Put it in your fucking mental vault. And next time you crushing it, say to yourself, Uncle Greasy says it's a high output day. And y'all motherfuckers owe me one. Owe me one Kenobi.
Reflection.
I think the theme of this podcast is going to be high output days. And why, as a dev, there's a lot of ways you can make high output when you're younger or when you're now starting out, leading up to when you become like a senior and you've been in the game for a minute. But there are a few things you can do, you know what I mean, to be a high output person. You know, everybody know how to grind, right? But grinding smart, you know, my dumbass brother has taught me this shit. Like, work smarter, not harder. You know what I mean? That was something he taught me a long time ago. And I hold on to that shit even now. A lot of people going to work hard, right? But the people who work smart, they're going to get ahead a little bit quicker because they're using their energy in different ways. They're not just beating their head against the wall. They're not just working the overtime. They're not just flipping the burgers and dipping the fries. You know what I mean? They play in the game at the same time. You know what I mean? So I had this thought that I would talk about with reflections, and I'll bring it back around. All right. As a dev, as a young dev coming into the game, my advice to you, and as a young professional in any scenario, get money. All right, that could mean a lot of things, right? And I mean, the youth nowadays, they really know how to hustle and get money. There's way more avenues to hustle and get money. But that's the name of the game. All right, like, making games is fun. You know what I mean? It's a great industry to be in. We all have a lot of fun. And it's a great way to make money. But understand and learn from a young age, if you can, how to stack your money, how to make more money, how to make your money work for you. I know there's a lot of like self-help people on the internet and on YouTube and shit telling you how to make money. And you should listen to some of them, you know what I mean, up to a certain point. But the idea is largely the same. It's like, get in the game. Start using your money to make money. You know how many devs I've met throughout the years, right? People who came up before me and who I was learning from coming up, who was making, you know, 6 figures and shit, right, on their checks. And they would be living paycheck to paycheck, or they would be living this crazy ass life where it's like all their money goes to partying, goes to going out, goes to games, trinkets, fucking swag, all this extra shit to hang on your wall and make your room look nice, all this bullshit. And then none of, like, eventually, when the shit fall apart, because sometimes it does happen, you know what I mean? People get cut, people get let go, work reductions happen, layoffs happen, and then boom, they ass out. They went from 6-figure lifestyle to nothing, and they have nothing to show for it. They have nothing with the saved up for the future, nothing locked in. That is the tragedy to me, and I've seen this shit happen to people. It's a tragedy. So as a dev, as you coming up in this world, even if you, before you get to dev and you work in your little fucking Wendy's, do people even work at Wendy's? Is Wendy's still even open? What's open now? McDonald's. McDonald's will never close, right? They're going to be selling salads even if it kills them. If you working at McDonald's, and McDonald's got a little 401k or some shit like that, some kind of thing where they throw money at you, just get on it. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if you can't buy them new shoes. I don't care if you can't buy that new game. I don't give a fuck if you got to give up your Netflix account. I don't give a fuck if you got to cancel your fucking YouTube Plus account or whatever the fuck you call that shit. I don't care if you got to kill your PlayStation fucking Plus shit, your monthly memberships, all that shit. Cut all that shit off and put that money in the market, man. Put that shit in a 401k. And if you become a dev and you're working for a bigger company or any company who's actually matching the shit that you're putting in, that's free money, dog. Who the fuck turns down free money in their right mind? All right, I'm gonna tell y'all. When I was coming up, I was living below my means, right? And I'm not trying to boast here, but I was living like a poor motherfucker, even though I was making a little bit of money. And that extra money, I acted like I didn't even have it. You know what I mean? I get a bump, I get a raise or some shit. I'm gonna act like I never even seen that raise. That money doesn't exist to me. I'm still living the same life I was from the day before. There's no difference. It's just now that extra money, I'm gonna take a bigger slice of my check and throw that shit in a 401k, and they're gonna match it, so they throwing in a bigger slice too, up to a point, obviously, right? But still, you're just throwing that money not into the void, but into the market to work for you. Dog, it's crazy how it works. You turn around 5-10 years later, you know, you've been busting your ass, and you turn around and boom, you got this big ass fucking nest egg or whatever, just staring you in the face like, yo, this is what you did. This is what you did because you didn't buy a brand new game every month. Or this is what you get because you didn't sign up for Netflix and you was just using your homie password for damn near 5 years. But you stacked your chips. Now you got some actual, not real wealth, but some, you know what I'm saying? And like, especially the brown and black and minority and immigrant developers who come over to the States or come over to whatever quote unquote first world country, whatever the fuck that mean, and get these gigs and don't make that move, don't get the education to start fucking around in this first world wealth system and this first world financial system and how that shit could work in your favor and compounding interest and all this shit. Yo, we all make that mistake. We all are susceptible to the flash in the pan, the dollar signs. That means you could upgrade your life when you really don't need to upgrade your life. You could just upgrade your future. You know what I'm saying? So I've said vote to upgrade your future. Get that money and make it work for you. That's my fucking knowledge to the youth right now, man. Just keep doing that. Open an IRA and you know what? You young, right? As a young person, you know what's cool. You know what the future is. You seeing the shit happen real time. Like when I was a kid, I used to say games of the future. This is the future, games of the future. My parents didn't, my mom didn't understand that. Her friends didn't understand. All the older generation folks didn't understand. They thought I was wasting my fucking time. But I was telling them, yo, this is the future. This is going to change the world. This is going to be bigger than movies. And here we are today. Games are bigger than movies. Games influence every part of our lives. There are professional gamers that get paid tons of money, just like professional athletes. We here. And I was saying that shit not even a whole lifetime ago. not very long ago. So imagine the cool shit as a youth that you coming up with now, like the thoughts you have and that you're like, yo, I could see it. I could see the future. I could see where this shit is going. I could see that this company's going to do well. I could see that this is the future of this, blah, blah, blah. Just use that knowledge, open a fucking IRA or some shit, and start throwing your money at the shit you think is cool. Seriously, it doesn't have to be a lot. Just throw a little bit of money at what you think is cool. Like back in the days, if you thought Apple was cool, you threw some money at that. Boom, you got decent money now because you bought shares in Apple. Same shit now. Same shit. What's the hotness? Do they have a company? Okay, boom, let me throw a couple hundred at that. And do that over and over and over. And before you know it, I mean, you're really sitting on something at this point. You're building your future. You ain't building your right now. Because right now don't mean shit. The future is what it's all about. So yeah, do that. Also, coming back to my original point about getting ahead, working smarter, is pay attention to the brown nosers. Okay? Coming up, I used to know a lot of heads who were better schmoozers. They were better brown nosers than they were workers. They didn't have the skill set. They didn't have the technical knowledge. Some of them didn't do shit, really. But they knew how to play the political game. They knew how to talk to people. They knew how to brown nose. They knew how to make it seem like they were a valuable asset. And I used to despise those people because I thought they were full of shit. And I don't like people who are all talk. But over years of experience, I learned to pull some things out of those kind of people, to learn from those kind of people, because they play in the game in a different way. And there's no wrong way to play the game. Let's be real. So if you can learn some of the skills from a brown noser, and you don't necessarily have to go full tilt into that world and become a fucking asshole who just like fucking lies about everything, but you can take some of the skills that they are exhibiting and use that to grow your own shit. Damn, I'm popular today. People texting me like crazy. What the fuck is going on? But yeah, yo, that's my advice to the youth. Get that money, work smart, and learn from the brown nosers. Use the brown noser skills to your advantage, and y'all will be just fine. But just remember, with all this investment shit, with all this money shit, just like everything else, just like your job, it could all fall apart tomorrow. So,
Night night.
what you play, what you play, what you play, what you playing, what are you playing?
What you playing?
I've been playing that Little Nightmares 2 a while ago at this point, but I did want to bring it up. Little Nightmares, it's 2D side scroller, platformer essentially, puzzle game, where you play as a faceless kid who seems to be trapped in a nightmare where all the adults and all the obstacles you face are larger than life, supernatural, and downright scary, spooky. The style, I'll put it this way, Little Nightmares could not exist without Limbo. Limbo set the stage for this type of 2D platformer. Inside basically mastered it. And Little Nightmares and Little Nightmares 2 is somewhere in the middle. It uses the Unreal Engine, which means the lighting effects are completely insane. And the graphics are really good. In Little Nightmares 2, they've expanded sort of the playing field. So now you don't just play on a two-dimensional plane, but you can also go back into the level and forward into the Z plane. Which, you know, is cool for certain puzzles and platforming sections. But this game is really about the atmosphere and the feeling of being a child with nightmares, and how vivid nightmares can be and how twisted nightmares can be as a child. Some of the representations of adults in this game are just, I would say, the truest vision of what an adult really is. Just a pile of shambling bones with ill intent. there's like a woman character. I think she's like a chef or something. She's cooking. In Little Nightmares 2, and when she's looking for you, like let's say you made a noise, when she's looking for you, her neck can extend. And you know, like back in the days, you had that teacher or whatever, who she would always somehow find you when you was about to get into trouble, or like she would just be around the corner at all times. It almost seemed like she had an ability to hear when you were fucking doing some fucked up shit and just be right there around the corner. I was getting this vibes from this shit, man. This bitch head is like coming through the vents and like chasing me and like stretching all over the place. And there's nowhere that's safe from this fucking bitch's head, man. It's crazy. Yeah, highly recommend it. It's a good one. You could probably beat it in like 10 hours, maybe less. And I just like to see, more indie developers getting little franchises. Like this is now a franchise. It's the second one. So they on a roll. They sold enough of that first one to budget up for the second one, and you love to see it, especially with indie stuff. So yeah, check it out. And if you can, reach out to me, Greasy Says, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, or greasysays@gmail.com, and tell me what you think the ending of that game means, because I'm confused. It's one of those games that is beautifully opaque in its narrative, and I can't make heads or tails of what the end of that game means. I do know that there's a nice cameo that is apparent at the end, but yeah, I don't get it. Reach out to me. Let me know if you do.
Medicate, meditate.
So I've coined the term high output day. But what do we do? What do we do when we have an output day? We got to make sure we make time for that high input. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what I'm saying, check out this week's Medicate and Meditate. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That Medicate and Meditate. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Are you taking care of me? Huh? Cause that output is high. Are you taking care of me? Because that output is high. Are you taking care of me? All my gains are yours. Yeah, because that output is high. Yeah. Are you taking care of me? All been said and done, I gotta take care of me. I gotta take care of I gotta take care of me. I gotta take care of Are you taking care of me? All my gains are yours. Because the output is high. Are you taking care of me? All been said and done. Because the output is high. Taking care of I gotta take care of me. I gotta take care of Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Gotta take care of Take care of that input. Eat your fruits and vegetables, kids. Fucking take your walks. Take your Ubers. You know what I mean? Drink up, live right, freshen up, feel good. Yeah, this is the end of another episode of Greasy Says. I'm glad y'all were here to listen to this one with me. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can tell, I'm recording this later and I sound much better, don't I? Yeah, been taking that bone broth. Wife gave me some bone broth. This shit sucks to drink. It's so gross. But maybe it's helping. I don't know. She tells me all kinds of shit helps. I just kind of take her word for it. I feel like shit and then I don't feel like shit sometime. And then I guess it worked. Who knows? Could I have taken a bunch of drugs and drank a bunch of alcohol and still felt the same way? Potentially. But I'm going to trick myself into believing that what I'm doing is the right thing for my body. Because you got to take care of that input. Yes. Remember, you can reach out to me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Y'all know the deal by now. Greasy Says on all of those things. Check out my music, MQM-CUE on Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, all the streaming platforms. Been playing more Diablo 4 in between these takes, and yeah, it's fun. It'll pull you into a time hole and never let you out. Whew. Midnight comes up quick when you're playing some Diablo 4, no lies. Greasy people, I want to thank you for coming out. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, give me feedback, and that kind of fell apart at the end there. But it don't matter though. Until next time, it's me, Greasy. The Greasy is greasy. The Greasy is greasy, 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 greasy. And I'm checking out with the room key, which I will be doing very soon. In reality. Laters!